Yo, what's going on, guys? And we just heard Adrian Wojnarowski say that if the Suns get swept, really, if the Suns lose this series, that Frank Vogel might be fired. Matt Ishbia has made moves. Monty Williams got fired for losing the second round in 6 games. Let's be honest, it does make sense. I mean, like I said, they've underachieved. First off, I think roster construction plays a part, but this team's offense is not creative at all. If you look at the Phoenix Suns this year, just in general, in terms of efficiency rating, this is a team that was the 10th best offense of rating, 13th best defense rating, 9th best net rating, 5th best three-point shooting team. Last year, they were the 14th best offense and the 7th best defense. So, arguably, they did get better offensively, but it came at the detriment of their defense. They are shooting at the same. I mean, there's flaws in this roster. I would not. I don't see anything wrong with firing Frank Vogel. Is KD maybe a coach killer? I don't know. Maybe. I think it's strange when, if we're going to put all the blame on one guy, it's because you guys don't want to face the fact that the true problem with this team is probably the roster construction. Now, who were the coaching candidate finalists last year for the Suns job? It was Nick Nurse, Doc Rivers, Frank Vogel, Kevin Young, Jordy Fernandez. Guess what? Every single one of those coaches are employed. And I think when you look there, you've heard Charles Lee and Kenny Atkinson be the other two. Charles Lee might become the Hornets head coach, and Kenny Atkinson is still on the Warriors bench. So they went and got a coach with championship experience, but I think they need a guy who can connect with players. I would go with a former NBA player or somebody that can relate. I mean, I like the idea of Kenny Atkinson. That I think he did an absolutely fantastic job with the Brooklyn Nets, but the main reservation with Kenny Atkinson is that he's more known as a player development coach, and he may not be the best guy for Phoenix. Doc Rivers, Frank Vogel, I think unless you're going for Mike Budenholzer, don't go for another known guy. I think Charles Lee's a guy, if he doesn't get the Hornets job, he's a former Bucknell University guy. I've heard great stuff from coaches around the league. He's played in various overseas clubs. He's been an assistant through Mike Budenholzer for many years. And he's known for being a well-rounded coach. Players love him. He's a player's coach. He's like 39 years old, and he'd be seen more as a peer and not an imposing authority. I think he's a good guy. Unless they can pull Monty Williams' chief of staff, Kevin Young, who also was on Frank Vogel's staff from BYU. I don't think they're going to go after Kevin Young. With the rest of the guys, there isn't anybody else that we know from last year that they go for. I don't know. I think the biggest thing is understanding that the Suns team needs a more creative offense. The defense isn't terrible. I think you need to move on from Jusuf Nurkic and understand that, hey, let's go ahead and get ourselves a coach that can coach defense, but maybe is a bit more helpful on the offensive side. I don't know. I have my reservations with Frank Vogel. I just don't know. He's been on teams where he's had a lot of really good talent, so I don't know if he's the best example. But nonetheless, I think with more and more time, it'll be interesting to see if they do fire him or not. But I agree if they do. But the market this year, you're going to have to go with a coach that maybe isn't as much of a known commodity as there were last year, as I think the market's kind of dried up. Also, it's kind of, Frank Vogel's hair grew back somehow. I would like to say that. Let's get that one clear. either way, Frank Vogel's kind of like the NBA's version of Frank McCarthy, or not Frank, Mike McCarthy.